How often should you text between dates, and what do you say?
So, good texting practice in between dates. I don't think there's a right answer there. It comes back a little bit to the personality that you have and what you actually enjoy doing. If you're somebody that loves to text and enjoys having that conversation and getting to know somebody remotely, then it's okay to text in between the dates. I wouldn't even put a cap on it of how often. I think you shouldn't be messaging all day, every day. But if you want to shoot her a message tomorrow and then the day after, and you guys are having a couple of good back and forths, I wouldn't microanalyze. Like, I think text, it goes back to the principle of good writing or a good story. If it's good and it's engaging, it can always be interesting. If it's boring and you're saying nothing because you don't actually care about having these texts, then that's where it's going to fall flat. And that's what I see from a lot of men, is they feel like they need to text every single day to keep it interesting, but they don't really care themselves. It gets a little dry, gets a little boring, and then that's what kills it. Not necessarily because you guys texted more frequently. If you're somebody that doesn't like to text, I don't think you need to in between that much. You can even tell her on a date, hey, listen, I'm not much of a text person, but I'll hit you up and we'll make plans in the coming week. And then she knows. And then you message her close to the day, you talk for a little bit, you make plans, and then you go from there. But I think a nice middle ground for a lot of men that don't enjoy texting is a phone or video call. I think it's fantastic. If you are somebody who likes to be present with another person, or your personality is stronger over those means, like, suggest it. So many guys are afraid to be like, hey, listen, I want to get together again, next weekend. But in the meantime, how about we jump on a call tonight and catch up? And that can be awesome as well. And then what should you be talking about in between dates? Same thing, man. Like, I hate being like, whatever you want, but you have to really think not of the specific content, because think about like YouTube. Let's go, for example, on YouTube. Is there one piece of engaging content, or is there infinite genres and subgenres and categories? And it's more so about the stories that they tell, or the knowledge we learn, or the connection we have with that piece of content. It's the same thing with texting. So I think in between dates, text about things that you actually enjoy talking about, subjects that excite you, your own hobbies, passions, interests, also what you'd want to know genuinely about her. If you don't care about what is she doing tonight on Netflix, then don't ask that. But if you want to know more about her interests in self-development, meditation, being a cinema fiend, being into photography, how she likes to cook, what she believes about love at first sight and human relationships, all those are viable as long as you care. And that's what people are going to pick up on, because inevitably your conversation is going to represent that. If you don't care about what you're saying, that's where guys are like, hey, what's up? Hey, how you been? Good? Me too. What are you doing? Not much. Just got back from work. You? Same. That's why it sucks. Get off that right away. Hey, what's up? Randomly, I've been thinking a lot about getting more into spirituality. I've never been much of a religious person, but I'm kind of reading more into spiritual books. Have you ever dipped your toe into that? If she feels it's real, okay, first off, it's confident that you're speaking honestly, but two, it's going to excite her to respond more in depth and give you some of herself. Actually, not to put you on the spot, Julian, but you shared a text exchange recently with us where you asked a woman, like, what do you actually find really important in love and dating? And I know that you care about that question. And she could tell that too. And she opened up, I think, about loyalty and empathy. And your response wasn't, okay, let me give a really short, pithy, funny quip about loyalty. It was, in that moment, you reflected and felt a personal experience, which I won't share here, that really shaped the way that you view loyalty in relationships, and you shared that with her. And in response, she shared her own vulnerability and her own experience with the same thing. And I think that's what makes for good, interesting conversation. So I think you really got to step back and commit to understanding yourself and asking yourself these hard questions and saying, what do I love? What are 5 things that I'm obsessed with? That if I could talk to a woman about anything, if she could sit in front of me on a date right now and tell me about anything, and I would listen for an hour, what would that be? Would it be about random work talk? Or would it be about love and relationships and her past and her childhood, her nerdy hobbies, something about tech, about baking, and diving further into that?
Let's say you want to talk to her about your love of music.
What kind of music? Why do you like it? Why does it inspire you? How did you grow up learning it? How does it move you? How does it change you? What's your favorite concert? What was the best experience at a music festival? Those things are going to open up the dialogue and keep it interesting. It's hard. It's not the easy work. I know we all want the answer of like, just pretend like some cool music thing. No, like, be real. I was on the recent retreat with Julian, and we were all sharing music that we listen to sometimes when we study. And sometimes I listen to really heavy, hardcore metal to get into the music. And I know none of them are interested in that, but I'm not going to hold that back and say, what kind of music can I talk about that they might think is cool? No, what I'm going to do is relate and say, like, sometimes I do the down tempo stuff, but to be honest, sometimes I listen to this crazy stuff. And I play like 10 seconds of a hardcore song. It's not their jam, but there's still confidence and human connection in that.
Confidence is owning who you are, and that'll always be the sexiest way to text.